Once again, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Constance Hart. It's a joy and privilege to be supporting you in this guided meditation this evening. Tonight's session is going to be a little different than perhaps our usual guided imagery journey. We're going to utilize EFT, EF as in Frank T, which is short for emotional freedom technique. And it combines tapping on acupressure points with intentional thinking and repetition to put you in a meditative mind state and then reap these other benefits of having a nervous system reset, feeling more peaceful through the nervous system. And then also it helps to kind of deactivate any mental looping. It kind of takes thoughts that maybe we think over and over and over again that are more negative in nature or challenging in nature, and it moves it to from the left brain analytical to the right brain being and inward. And well, you'll just give it a try with me and you'll see how you feel. As I said earlier, all meditation practices are called meditation practices because they do require practice. So you will get to put this technique in your toolbox tonight. And if you find it worthwhile, I really do suggest that you just pull it out of your toolkit every now and then and give it a go and practice. So I'm just going to actually, let's start with a brief meditation so that we can just change channels from wherever the mind has been throughout the day. And so I'll have you close your eyes, and if you're wearing eyeglasses, you can remove them. Let's roll the shoulders up, back, and down a few times. And let's squeeze the shoulders up to the ears and then drop them. Squeezing up to the ears. You're actually amplifying perhaps some tension there, and then you can make that exhale sound as you drop the shoulders. So continue that in your own timing and making some sound on your exhale and inhaling through your nose on your inhale. That's enough releasing and letting go. Now we want to start to amplify, bringing more life force energy into the body, mind, spirit by inhaling and exhaling solely through the nose. And you'll just find your own breathing rhythm, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And see if you can become just a bit more interested in the texture of your breath and how it is feeling in the nostrils. Nostril breathing is so helpful for our physical body's health because our nostril hairs actually purify the air that we take in. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose rather than shallow, anxious breathing that we tend to do through the mouth brings fresher air into the lungs and throughout your whole body, mind, spirit. And now just breathe in such a way that you bring your attention to your upper chest, your underarms, and your upper back. And see if you can breathe deeply, as deeply, to feel some movement in your upper chest, a little lift in the underarms, and expansion across the upper back. With your eyes closed, just notice if you're perhaps squinting your eyes unnecessarily. So just imagine the skin of your eyelids is growing softer and smoother. You're going to stick your chin out like a turkey, and then you're going to pull it all the way back. And do that a few times and just notice if maybe you were already there with some unnecessary tension with the chin jutting forward or all the way back. And then just kind of let your chin settle between those two extremes. So those pieces of your meditation puzzle were lifting the shoulders up to the ears, shrugging them down with an audible exhale. Then we moved into inhaling and exhaling solely through the nose. We focused on the texture of the breath flowing in and out through the nose. And then we focused on breathing into the upper chest, underarms, and across the upper back. And then we brought some mindfulness into whether the eyes were squinting, and we sent a suggestion into the eyelids to soften and relax. And then we pushed the chin purposely too far forward and too far back to find the middle point. So those tools together is enough to create a load of relaxation in your day. Now you can slowly open your eyes, and I'm going to show you the tapping point, but I'm going to keep repeating this over and over again. So you'll know it by the time we're done, but just take a little peek. We're going to start with whatever your dominant hand is. You're going to use your dominant hand, and you're going to be tapping underneath the opposite pinky finger on the side of the hand. We're just practicing the points here. Then you're going to tap between your eyebrows. And then you're going to tap to the temples. And then you're going to tap right alongside your nostrils on your cheekbones. Then you're going to come underneath the nose, on your chin, above the clavicles. And we're actually, if you take a look at this, we're flapping our arms like birds. Those little divots on the right and left sides of the upper chest, you'll be tapping there. And with that dominant hand, you're then going to do a little chop underneath the opposite underarm. And then you're coming to the top and center of the head. So we're starting, the very first time is the only time we're doing this tapping on the outer pinky finger. And then we're going between the eyebrows to the temples, outside the nostrils on the cheekbones, underneath the nose. It doesn't have to be very hard, but with presence. At the chin, underneath the lower lip. And then right and left upper chest. And that little karate chop with love underneath the opposite underarm, at the underarm, and then at the top of the head. Didn't those feel natural? Remember the first time I was taught this technique, it's almost as if my fingers knew exactly where to go. Now that could be because I have 20 years of experience with acupressure points, but I share this with many students, and everyone seems to say, yeah, that felt really natural. So that's a beautiful thing, right? That it feels natural. Now we're going to practice that one more time, just like we did. We haven't started the technique yet. We haven't really started our meditation yet, but we're going to practice that one more time. But this time, what I want you to do is just notice if you're holding your breath while you're doing that. And we're going to see if we can get a little coordination going where we're doing the tapping, but we're also breathing in and out a little bit more consciously, because when you're learning these new things, the tendency is to hold the breath and there really isn't any energy moving. well, less energy is moving, because the good news is anytime we're tapping acupressure points, energy is being awakened and is starting to move. So let's just now begin to focus on the breath, breathing in and out through the nose as you were before, and tapping below. Well, you're using your dominant hand and you're tapping below the pinky finger on your other hand, on the outside part of the hand. Let's share a few breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. And now we're going to tap between the eyebrows, inhaling and exhaling. Into the temples, breathing consciously. To the outer nostrils at the cheekbones. Underneath the nose, above the upper lip. Below the lower lip on the chin, inhaling and exhaling. The upper chest, right and left sides, in line with the clavicle. Breathing in and out through the nose. Dominant hand underneath the opposite underarm, at the underarm, on the side of the body, inhaling and exhaling, and at the top of the head. Very good. Let's drop the arms, kind of loosen up your upper body, roll your shoulders up, back and down a few more times. And listen, well, before I give you the script, let me have you consider a challenging emotion that you are currently with or tend to have a tendency toward. A challenging emotion. It could be fear, it could be anger, it could be frustration, overwhelm, anxiety. Oof, aren't they challenging? There's so many. We've got a long list. Did you find your challenging emotion? Just give me a nod if you found your challenging emotion. Pretty easy to find one. As humans, this is part of our life experience, right? We have our challenging emotions and we have our more pleasant emotions. Our script, by the way, I should have said, please take what you resonate from this practice, from this class. I really believe that everyone is their own best teacher. And I also always say, if you just learn one new thing, my job is done, because one new illumination piece can take us so far in our journey. And the other thing I just wanted to make mention of is that there are lots of different scripts that are used with this emotional freedom technique. And there are also shorter and longer protocols with the tapping points. So what I'm showing you tonight is part of a practice that I've been shown over several years, and I've decided that this works the best for this type of presentation. The classic emotional freedom script is usually something like, even though I have this, I love and accept myself completely. The second part of the script is usually, I love and accept myself completely. We're not going to use that second half of the script. I have something different for you. It's lovely anytime you want to use this technique with I love and accept myself completely. It's just, it's kind of a hard leap to make sometimes, saying those words. And so I have found that this script works also when we're dealing with a physical illness or a physical challenge. It really gets to the heart of the matter, but in a very general and open way. So thank you for bringing in that word open before, because that really matches. Peggy, I just asked that you find a challenging emotion. You just have it in your head. It could be where you've been hanging out today, or a challenging emotion that you're very familiar with. It's usually easy to find one as human beings. And I'm going to say in the script, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. That's what I'm going to keep repeating for you. But what you're going to be saying is your specific challenging emotion. So for me today, quite honestly, my challenging emotion is sadness. So if I were doing my personal practice, I will be saying to myself, even though I have sadness today, everything is going to be all right. So I'm going to keep repeating the script. And so as to not be too confusing, I'm just going to keep saying, even though I have this challenging emotion, right? And what you're going to be saying is, even though I have blank, your actual challenging emotion. Now, the technique does work a little, brings you into a little bit more presence if you're saying it out loud. And so how nice, you're muted. You can say it out loud. I'm not looking at you. So you're in your private space. We can all close our eyes too. So you have that private permission to speak that challenging emotion out loud, or you can also take yourself off a video if that's comfortable for you. But I want you to keep watching me so you can keep practicing. Again, it's just going to take a little while. You're going to be so impressed with how quickly you get coordinated with doing the tapping and saying the statement over and over again. Sound good by a nod of heads? And then I'll ask what questions you have before I continue. Feels pretty clear, doesn't it? All right, so just get comfortable and we'll start tapping with the dominant hand to the side of the other hand underneath the pinky finger. Even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Tapping between the eyebrows, even though I have this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Breathing consciously in and out to the temples, tapping, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Outside of the nostrils, at the cheekbones, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Tapping on your upper lip, underneath the nose, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. With breath, underneath the lower lip, on the chin, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Upper chest, right and left sides, underneath the clavicle, even though I have this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Dominant hand to the opposite underarm, chopping like a karate chop, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. To the top of the head, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Now, from here, we drop to between the eyebrows for the other sets. Even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Speaking your specific challenging emotion each time, even though I'm having fill in the blank, to the temples now, even though I'm having, everything is going to be all right. Outside of the nostrils to the cheekbones, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Underneath the nose, above the upper lip, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Underneath the lower lip on the chin, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Upper chest, right and left sides, just on the inside of the shoulders, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Dominant hand, karate chop under the opposite, at the opposite underarm, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. To the top of the head, even though I'm having this challenging emotion, everything is going to be all right. Third time through, we're tapping between the eyebrows. Everything is going to be all right. To the temples, everything is going to be all right. Outside the nostrils, on the cheekbones, everything is going to be all right. Below the nose, above the upper lip, everything is going to be all right. Below the lower lip, on the chin, everything is going to be all right. In the upper chest, right and left sides, everything is going to be all right. Karate chop, dominant hand to the opposite underarm, everything is going to be all right. To the top of the head, everything is going to be all right. Between the eyebrows, I can trust now everything is going to be all right. To the temples, I can trust now everything is going to be all right. With breath, breathing consciously outside the nostrils, at the cheekbones, everything is going to be, I can trust now everything is going to be all right. Below the nose, I can trust now everything is going to be all right. On the chin, I can trust now everything is going to be all right. Upper chest, I can trust now everything is going to be all right. Karate chop to the underarm, I can trust now everything is going to be all right. To the top of the head, I can trust now everything is going to be all right. Between the eyebrows, to the temples, just tapping and breathing consciously outside the nostrils, on the cheekbones, with breath. Inviting relaxation below the nose, just tapping and breathing now. On the chin, with breath, with energy, with light. In the upper chest, right and left sides, on the inside of the shoulders there. The breathing. Dominant hand underneath the opposite underarm, with breath. And at the top and center of the head. And drop that arm. And you're going to cradle. You're going to place your left hand underneath your right hand, lightly touch the tips of your thumbs and drop your hands in your lap. So you've got the left hand underneath the right, touching the tips of the thumbs, just feeling your hands relaxing in that cupped position and finding some relaxation there. The eyes are closed. Inhaling and exhaling now through the nose. Becoming more interested in the texture of your breath flowing in and out through the nose. Feeling the air, perhaps on the nostril hairs on the inside of the nose. And inviting more of this life force energy that is flowing through your breath into the upper chest, your underarms, expanding across your upper back. Feeling some movement now with your breath, expanding in the upper body. And now just invite the inner corners of your eyes to expand to the outer corners. Nice, deep, full breaths. And now just imagine the outer corners of your eyes are floating off your face in relaxation. Your eyelids are growing heavier. And notice your chin. Perhaps it's floating up to the sky. Just inviting the chin to drop just a little bit toward your chest. Notice if the chin is jutting out forward, just draw it back a little bit. Breathing into the upper chest, the underarms, the upper back. And now you'll just gently imagine your breath, pink in color. Imagining your breath now like a beautiful string of lights, pink in color. So this pink light breath is flowing into your body, serving all of your cells. This pink energy of gentleness and loving kindness. And as you exhale now, this pink light breath, these streams of pink light flowing out with your exhale and dancing in a circle around your physical body. And you can expand this circle of pink light around your body as wide as you like. You're sitting inside this gentle capsule of pink loving kindness. And enjoying a deep breath of this pink light now, taking this pink light energy in from the outside. And imagine that you're sending it all the way up to the top and center of your head. And on your exhale, this pink light is cascading down all around you. Inhaling up to the top and center of your head, this pink light breath. And as you exhale, this pink light energy is cascading from the top of your head in all directions, down and around your body. So you have this wonderful layer of loving, gentle energy encapsulating your physical body. And we'll just set the intention that this energy is available to be with you any time of the day or night. And all you need to do is just simply think back to this time when you were sitting inside this beautiful circle of pink light, and you chose to breathe in and up to the top of your head, this pink light breath, and visualizing it cascading down in all directions around your physical body. And so it is. Let's have you come back into the room, opening your eyes. And we'll have a little discussion, and I'll just review that technique with you. And before we review that emotional freedom technique, just want to make mention of the position that I had you put your hands in after that, which could be utilized for any deep breathing practice and any time of day that you might be feeling stressed or a little anxious, or if you find that you're wanting your more being state of mind to take over, if the mind has been in a very active doing state of analyzing and thinking and formulating and figuring things out, the left side of the body, so the left hand and all of the acupressure points on the left palm, they relate to the right hemisphere of your brain. The right hemisphere, another way I could say that is the right hemisphere of the brain is operating all the energy on the left side of the body. And that's the more being state of mind, the more quiet inward state of mind. The right hand, operated by the left hemisphere of the brain, is the more active doing energy. So by placing the left hand under, and this is not only a yoga mudra, which is a hand position that creates energy in the body, like a simple prayer pose also does. This is not only a yoga mudra, but it's also used quite often in different Buddhist meditation practices. So we're cradling, we have the left hand underneath the right. And in that gesture, we're really cradling the active doing energy that tends to trip us up more so than the being inward gentle energy. So that energy of the left hand cradles the right, and by touching the tips of the thumbs together, that energy loop is created into the brain, which helps to balance the two hemispheres of the brain. So if all you ever did was just kind of leave here tonight going like this and having your hands like this during the day, every now and then, you're going to do your body a really good service, the brain a really good service. So I'll say it one more time. We started with the dominant hand to the opposite hand on the side of the hand underneath the pinky finger. And then we went between the eyebrows. And then we went to the temples. So when we're doing the temples, we have one hand on each side. And then we went to the outer part outside the nostrils on the cheekbones. So it's just about the middle of the face or closer to the nostrils. It's perfectly fine in that zone. We've got one hand on each side. We're tapping there. And then one hand taps underneath the nose above the upper lip. And then we drop to below the lower lip on the chin. And then we have we're using both our right and left hands on the right and left sides of the upper chest, just underneath the divot when we make our little bird flappy wing motion. Then we take our dominant hand to the opposite underarm and do a little karate chop there. You could think of that hand being parallel to the floor as you're feeling the movement on the thumb side of your hand touching right underneath the underarm and then going to the top and center of the head. So it's only the first time that we're doing the first movement on the opposite hand. When we complete that first cycle to the top and center of the head, we go right down to between the eyebrows, and then we go all the way back down the body and then back up to the head, and it starts to feel really intuitive. You're just dropping it down through those few points. Enjoy your energy and enjoy your practice. I hope you do practice some of what you learned tonight.